The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Omusajja bulijjo muwa ssente mu kibanja mpola ng'asonda poloti ennungi naye ngenza okutuuka nga woofiisi bulijjo wenteeka ssente baavaawo nadda essimu tebazikwata kyokka nga n'ebyentambula byakaweeredde biseera bya kovidi yegandabye
gubakubye naye lwaki weesiga abafere lwaki tewanneebuuzaako n'enkulagirira ba praise nze be bannyamba nze njokke
Praise Property Consultants Uganda Limited bagula n'okutunda ettaka kosana amayumba bapunta ettaka ne bakwanguyiza okufuna ekyapa bazimba amayumba kosana okuba plan ne architecture design balina plot enteeketeeke wonna w'ogyetaaze ate ku byapa ebya private Miloland n'ebibanja ku ttaka lya Kabaka era bakkiriza ekibanja mpola basange Wandegeya mu katale ka KCCA Southern Wing leve y'okusatu lumu 128 oba ku ssimu 0706 0 mukaga ne 0783 821 918.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abafunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna gwoyagala musajja yenna gwoyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde tu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde tu naye nga mutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyanjagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Uganda is born again.
Mubirabye. Mubiwulidde.
And you will see what NRM means. We are going to crush those criminals.
Mubyenyigiddemu.
We are simply peacefully telling our people say no to rigged elections.
Ebimu mubitegeera.
Naffe tusobola okutiisatiisa abo abatiisatiisa.
Oba oli awo ng'abamu mugwamu bigwe. Byabaffe byava ku ki?
Era kyova olaba baatukolera ne constitution esinga obusiru mu nsi yonna.
Bino n'ebirala birindirire buli lwa Sande okuva ku ssaawa 11 okutuuka ku ssaawa 1 ey'akawungeezi.
Osibye tannate gwe munnaffe atulaba mukadde kano olunaku lwa Sande bakulisaayo abavudde mu masinzizo ag'enjawulo okutendereza ku mutonzi nammwe ate abasabidde ewaka. Mbabuuzaako mwenna abatulabira mu ggwanga Uganda n'ebitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo nti mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala. Eno eno program emanyiddwa nga eriiso ly'omukulu. Munnange nno wano twogera nsonga zennyini, tutunuulira ebyaliwo, ebiriwo na biki ate bye tusuubira okuba nga bibeerawo. Wano nno tuba ate n'abakulu ate nga batubuulira biki ebyaliwo mu biseera byabwe, biki ebiriwo mu kadde kano na biki bye basuubira okuba nga ate bibeerawo. Sande nno ewedde twalina Honorable Yona Kanyomozi era nga twayogera ebintu bingi nnyo. Yayogera n'annyonnyola ku ngeri gye yagendamu ku ssomero nga tayambadde ngoye, so awo nno ekibuuzo era nawo ne kivaawo, n'ayogera ku ngeri ate munnange gye bamubuulingamu ku ssomero nga babanywesa kamulali, engeri gye baali aba students abapya mu ssomero eryo, era nga eyo nayo yali experience y'amaanyi. So n'ebirala bingi nnyo byagenda okuba nga atubuulira, naye nga bwe twakoma nga ayogera ku Royal Technical College gye yali applyinze okuba nga ate afuna ekifo, naye ate ebbaluwa ye bwe yakomawo teyasooka kugirabirawo, basooka kugikweka. So agenda kuba atubuulira ye kyamuyisa kitya, naye nga tetunaba kutuuka ku mboozi eyo. Munnange tugenda musaba asooke yeyanjulire abatulaba, then ate tutandike program yaffe ng'addamu ebimu ku bibuuzo ebyabuuzibwa mu program ate gye twasembayo okuba nayo. Naye ng'amannya nze Omumbejja Luwedde Lilian, negattaako n'olwaleero era ng'ate tufuna ebyokuyiga mu mboozi ya Honorable Yona Sani. Agenda kuba nga atubuulira, waliwo erinnya nno lye nazudde naye nga agenda kuba nga nalyo alitubuulirako erinnya ate eryokusatu, naye nga kasooka atubuuzeeko naawe ate omulabi yakatwegattako ate then tuke tutandikiraawo butereevu. Honorable, sooka obuuze kuba tulaba.
Okay, muli mutya eyo omutonzi abakuumye bulungi ndowooza
kituufu. Honorable, Oluganda lumutawaanyaamu naye ng'ate alumanyi bulungi nnyo, so bw'owulira nga tuvuddeko mu lulimi lw'omanyi Oluganda oba nga tuvudde nga tugenzeko mu lulimi ate Olungereza, teweebuuza nti ate lwaki bakyusizza ennimi. Honorable, ennimi zonna azoogera naye ate Oluganda ayogeramu, naye yatugambye nti yayiga okuyimba ekitiibwa kya Buganda. Agenda kuba tuwamuko akapeera byonna nno olwaleero tugenda kubanga ate tubifuna bye tutasobola kufuna luli ebibuuzo bye mwabuuzizza leero. Honorable agenda kubanga ate biddamu. Honorable, when I was doing my research,
yes,
nina erinnya eddala lye nazudde,
yes,
and that name is Bankobeza.
Yeah. Eryo erinnya lyange eriri mu records kugombolola yaffe bwe nazaalwa banyita eryo erinnya.
They gave you that name as well?
Yes, they gave me that name as my name. Those names are actually more common in northern Tanzania, and my ancestors came from that side. Kati ekyaliwo kiri bwe kiti nga barecruiting abantu kugenda mu lutalo olwokubiri, the European war, Second World War. I think I call it more European war, although there was Japan also in it. When they came to recruit and wanted to take my two elder brothers, the family had lost two or elder brothers on the same day. When nga bajje kuba recruiting, my father was actually in a very, very bad situation. He didn't want his two kids to go after the loss of two of his sons. When they insisted they had to take them, nalimba gambye luli ntomu omulenze omuto ye ya deciding to come to Buganda. Not to work, but to run away from conscription. When they insisted to take the other one, the one I said, when agamba luli, when yangamba going to Tororo, passing through underground train and what have you, my father wasn't happy, and he actually reacted. The word okunyomoza is to press somebody hard beyond reasonable dealings with the people. Then he said, ababashaija ba government ninga bomuzungu banyomoza. So how I adopt, they then started calling me Kanyomozi because I was born 1941 after my brother had already gone. So that's how the name Kanyomozi comes. And since they stayed there nearly 5 years, it superseded my other name of Bankobeza. But on record, in our Gomborora,
Bankobeza.
I'm Bankobeza. Not only that Bankobeza seems to have been a name. In my family, they go back. You will find people being called Muhimbura, Bankobeza, Karamusingi.
Muhimbura to mean what?
Muhimbura is one who resurrects. Those names are common, and I think they are common also in Chigezi. So these were all names are people bring them back. They name their children, but not immediately. If a person dies, you don't name your children a person who has died. You wait for the thing to cool and then resurrect the name. For example, my small grandson who is in that office sitting is called Bwanungu. Bwanungu was my father's name. You'll find others called Karamsing. That was an uncle, a very long uncle. You'll find...
it's like succeeding someone.
Yes.
When someone dies.
Yes.
You
wait
the name.
And then you resurrect the name. You'll find Kamugarwiri, the father of this boy. That was my grandfather's name. So you'll find all those names coming up. So the Bankobeza was one of the maybe past uncles.
Okay.
So that's the name.
That's how you got the name.
The name.
But
it got covered by the situation.
Kanyomozi.
Yes. Because he felt that Bamunyomoza and that he felt that they had over-disturbed him, taking his son to the war front.
In our previous episode, rather, you talked about your siblings and you said you are the third born in your family.
Not in my family, by my mother.
By your mother. So do you still, are they still alive?
No, none of them. I'm on my mother. I'm the only one now living. The others were actually very old. When my mother got married, my eldest brother, or what you people call step brother, but I call him my brother, had already a family, and his son would have married and produced, but he's decided to go in the church and he overdelayed. So he overdelayed he has died recently at the age of 98. His son of my brother. So you find the people in my family, some of them who are old men, call me great-grandpa. Yeah.
So you're the only one.
I'm the only one now left.
Okay. Honorable, still in our previous episode, you talked about the day when you went to school naked. And
no, I didn't say that. I said I joined the school.
You joined the school.
But I didn't have a uniform to put on.
Yeah.
I didn't say.
You talked about...
I couldn't have gone naked.
And that's where the question came in.
Yes.
That Honorable talked about going to school,
Naked.
but then
No.
first time he joined school,
I
he
joined
talked
school.
about the father who was depressed after losing the cattle and all that.
Yes, but I didn't go to school naked. I had umtanda. I don't know what you can call umtanda. Have you seen pastoralists who wear like what is umtanda in? It's like a shuka, but munajiro where you. Yes. I had that. Yes.
That's where this person got that question of.
Oh,
did
no.
Honorable go to
You can't go to a school naked. The chiefs would arrest you. Yeah.
Honorable,
the teachers wouldn't have you anyway.
What kind of games did you like when you were still in school? Did you play any games? Were you into MDD?
First of all, I was too small, but I was a sportsman. I like doing high jump. And when I went to Ntare school, it was the thing which was in the vogue. In Ntare school, I played cricket, but I was too small to also hold a bat and create. I did high jump with.
That was when in secondary.
In secondary.
Okay. So you
in the other primary school, I was too small to play football or anything, except I joined the school band and used to do the thing you hold and knock. And later I liked music, although I didn't have a very good voice. But
you said at home you used to sing.
Yes, but you sing, but there are those who have gifted voice. But even now, if you give me these things which you shake in the clubs, I can do this. Shake them very well. The ones you see in nightclubs.
So you had the passion for sports?
Yes, I had a passion for sports, but I was too small to do anything.
Okay, that's
but the one thing I adopted, which has stayed with me, is I like swimming. I can't say I'm an expert swimmer, but the Kampala club actually gave me a cup because I was the only regular person who goes in the swimming pool.
But the other experience you got of having to learn swimming in high school.
Yes.
Yeah. It helped you a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
But I can't say I'm an expert or I can go in a competition.
But at least you learned something.
Oh, yes.
You said, Honorable, that you were taught in in vernacular, also in your language.
Yes.
That is the Runyankore. Yes. So were you doing the exams in Runyankore as well?
Some of it was in Runyankore, yes. And others were in English. That this is in primary school.
So when you went in secondary, it was English totally.
And in some schools, they didn't even allow you to speak vernacular. You'd be penalized.
I remember in primary and then in secondary, they used to give us these bonds. When you speak vernacular, they give you a bond. Yeah. So did you also have punishments for speaking vernacular?
Yeah.
What were the punishments?
I can't remember them offhand. But you'd be either caned, I can't remember. But you are not supposed to speak vernacular.
It was a taboo.
It was a taboo in the secondary schools.
When we were finishing our previous episode, you talked about joining Royal Technical College.
Yes.
And then you bashed students from Makerere University. Why was that?
I said the students, I didn't bash them because there were teachers who were from Makerere, most of them. But the interesting thing which I liked about Royal Technical College was that the students there dressed smartly. Two,
unlike the ones of Makerere.
Unlike the ones at Makerere. Two, excuse me. They were not arrogant. The Makerere students were actually very arrogant, and that also upset me. Because I was a simple man and I had already taken my philosophy of being kind, reasonable, looking at the society in a different manner.
Okay, so that's why you wanted to join
Royal Technical College, besides being able to go on the road that my eldest brother went.
But what if now that you weren't granted that opportunity,
Yes.
and then you are told to go to Makerere University, would you have gone there?
And not only that, I taught there in the extramuros things. So yes, I would. But you mean the Makerere of today?
The Makerere of that time.
The Makerere of that time, maybe. But what was the thing? In the Royal Technical College, we were treated as if we were in four-star hotel. You had the meals were really out of this world. You had the starter, you had the main course, you had dessert, and you had coffee. So 4 on every meal. You ate sausages, you ate what? You
ate each and everything.
Everything. It was like being, when you went to, if they called you to the high table, the prayers, thanking God for the food we are going to eat, were said in Latin. And you wouldn't go in a dining without wearing your gray jacket, the gray trouser with a jacket and a school gown.
So you were very smart.
They were smart.
One of the reasons as to why you preferred
I wanted to go, besides going on that road. That's why I preferred.
Mama was okay with it. Was okay with you going to Royal Technical College.
Yeah.
She didn't hesitate at any point. No, my child is leaving me. He's going very far.
Very far, but she didn't have problems.
So you were at Royal Technical College for how long?
I only did my A-levels there.
After that, you came back?
I came back here. I applied to go to Makerere. But Makerere is term, and the term of Royal Technical College were on a different level. Makerere was then starting its academic year in July. Okay?
Unlike Royal College.
Royal College was finishing the A-level exams in June. So the results would not come on time to get you in Makerere in July. We had applied. The only thing which made me annoyed was the Indian students who applied with us were taken in pending the results. The Africans were not allowed to go in. Then you would lose a year. So what I did, I got so annoyed, I said I would look for a scholarship. At that time of the Cold War between America and Russia and what have you, was at its highest. So Mrs. Alika was running a program for sending students to US. I applied for that, went and did the aptitude tests, went and did SAT, a number of us, and I got on that scholarship scheme.
But by that time, scholarships were many and bursaries, unlike these days.
Yes.
Why was that?
Because people cared and there were no institutions. I think it was care.
So these days people don't care?
I think we have relaxed a bit. Even local governments. If I go through the system that happened to me, when Mrs. Alika and those who were running the thing decided that I should go to Lincoln University. Why Lincoln? Lincoln was the first black college or university in America. In addition, it is this university where Nkrumah, Azikiwe, and many others, great alumni, went, because of course it was the only university for the African American. So maybe she thought, or the ones, since I had already shown political inclination, that that's where I should go. Then my other friends who went with me, like Agura Wori, I think you have heard of him, like Makun and others, were admitted to good universities. Especially, I got able to feel that way when Agura Wori invited me to visit him at Harvard. When I went
Harvard University.
Yes. When I went to Harvard and compared it with Lincoln, and yet I had nearly similar results for my A-levels, I said, I'm not going to stay here. So I wrote wanting to change to another university. They said that they wouldn't allow me to change. I would stay at Lincoln.
Because you were on bursary?
We were all on bursaries. All of us.
Was it the reason as to why you were not allowed to change?
I don't know. When they did that, excuse me, I decided to get my pen in the same way as I did at Ntare School. Get my pen and wrote to universities overseas, in England, which I knew. I wrote to Oxford, I wrote to Cambridge, I wrote to London School of Economics. And I was finding things where people, the great Africans had gone. I knew Nkrumah had gone to the London School of Economics. I knew Kenyatta had gone to the London School of Economics. I knew even for the Americans that Kennedy, whom I had seen as a president of the United States, had gone to the London School.
But why did you choose that course in the first place? Of all courses, why did you?
Which one?
The course you did.
Economics. Because it was since I didn't go and do medicine, because if I had gone to Makerere, I would think at that time I would have gone for medicine or something like that.
Medicine, so
I didn't go I didn't do that. At A level I did economics. I did my headmaster at Ntare School insisted I should influenced the Royal Technical College that I must do literature. So I did literature instead of geography and mathematics. And I did history, which I also liked very much. So that's the reason why I went for economics.
Okay. So how was the course?
The course was very interesting, very, very interesting indeed. Economics was terrific. And the school, the London School of Economics, I think is a terrific school. It's very liberal. The courses are very interesting. And even now, in the rating of universities in the world, it is high up. In Britain, it is number 4 or number 3. It at one time pushed Oxford and Cambridge in a slight position. If you go and Google that, you'll find it there. It's in the first 10 great universities in the UK. So that's where I went, and I did economics, and more analytical and descriptive economics, and got a reasonable degree.
And then you came back to Uganda, or you stayed there?
No, I wanted to stay there, but I had now been out of Uganda for 4 years. And I thought I should come back. I had my mother to see.
It was long.
4 years. 4 years was too long. So I decided. I had jobs. I had been offered jobs.
But then
I said no. I must go home. 2, Uganda had become independent
by that time.
Yes, I thought I should come and see what independence has meant, and so I came. And I had been active in the politics of Uganda, especially of the party.
Which party was that?
I was the Secretary General of the Uganda People's Congress.
UPC.
Yes, and I am still am.
How did you cross from economics to politics?
The politics of governance is a little different from politics of day to day. Yes, the governance part and the politics of theory and our view is that they are far different things. And being an economist, I thought it would be easier for me to contribute.
To contribute something to your party.
To the economy, to the building of this nation. When I came back, I had a bit of a problem. I didn't get a job. My member of parliament had been arrested, Gracie Binjira. So there was in the intelligence of that time of looking at me as a person coming from his constituency as maybe having sympathies for him. Two, I had been a very, not radical, a very critical person as a political animal. In fact, they seized my book, my monthly review book. I have never seen it again. They took my passport, and I had difficulties in getting a job until the Attorney General then, Mr. Binaisa, who used to see me in London, and took me to Mr. Elisa Chironde.
Your passport was taken as well?
Yes, it was taken at that time. And Chironde decided to take me on, not in a formal job, but as his personal assistant economist. So I started working in Uganda Electricity Board. Before we reach there at Uganda Electricity Board, you talked about joining UPC. Yes. When was that? Oh, when I joined UPC when I was still at Ntare School. Our teacher called Rwesiba was in Parliament or in the Legico at that time. They formed a party called Uganda People's Union. Uganda People's Union joined the UNC of Obote Wing
National Congress
and formed UPC in 1960.
That was before we got independence?
Yes. So, since I had joined UNC while I was a student at Ntare School, automatically became a member of what?
UPC.
The new party called UPC.
How many political parties were there during that time?
There were many. There was the UNC, which remained with Musazi. There was DP. There was Kabaka Yeka later. There was another party. I have forgotten its name. So there were many.
So you decided to join UPC?
No, I decided to remain as a part of UNC, which had joined UPU to form UPC. Yeah.
So of all parties, why that one?
Because it had a social program which was very attractive. It looked at the Uganda poverty, it looked at Uganda education, it looked at getting health programs which were very, it was pro-people. Yeah.
Did you have any plans of contesting for a member of parliament or president by the time you joined UPC?
At that time, I was too small.
You didn't have any plans?
No, I had intention to join, to stand. But when I came in 62, in 66, and started working, I stayed on. But in 1970, when they were going to hold elections, as you know, in 71, and they had a rally in our place, in a place called Rubari, and they were looking for candidates.
You went to contest?
No, let me come to that. The leading person in our place at that time was a man called Montoyera, who is the father of
To
the
General Mugisha Muntu.
general. Yes, he was the one they were thinking of fielding, because this other man was already he had been locked up. Ibinjira, he wasn't going to come back. So this man, who was a friend, took me on a platform and said, if I don't stand, this is the person you should vote for. So I was introduced
To the public.
To the public. And I was already doing many things on youth. I had a program on TV.
Was it
for youth? Yeah.
You had a program on TV for youth.
For youth. I had been asked by my friend, who was the director of television, Agra Wori, to run that program. So,
what are some of the things that you are looking at that were affecting the youths at that time, that you looked at and you were like, I want to solve this and this?
I was looking at first the nature of our economy. It was still dominated by the foreigners. I was looking at how to develop education, how to extend electricity, social services, how to expand the things concerning the health. Those were the things which were important to me. Because the party was fighting ignorance, disease, and what? The third one. Those were the things affecting me as the member of the party, and I thought I would do that.
By the time we got independence, that was 1962, you were already in Kampala?
No.
You were still in the village?
I had just gone to America. I went to America in 1962. Independence didn't find me here.
It found you the other side.
Yeah, and I remember us singing the national anthem, which wasn't the same as it is now, in the first stanza. But I remember going to Greensboro, New Jersey, where we celebrated the independence. And the most interesting thing is that Apollo Chironde, who was the ambassador designate to the United Nations, they called us all students to come to Greensboro, New Jersey to celebrate independence. And we were asked to come in national dresses. So a friend of mine, an old man who unfortunately was killed during Amin, sent me a kanzu. I went there in a kanzu and a jacket and I sang the national anthem all of us, which we learned. Some learned it there, some learned it a week before the independence. And we were here listening to the things going on at Kololo on the BBC.
That's how you got to know about Uganda's independence.
Yes.
And the first president as well. Because Dr. Apollo Milton Obote was the prime minister by then?
Then, yes. He was a prime minister. And the year after, the Kabaka of Uganda became the president.
By that time, when you went abroad for studies as a black student, how was it? A student from an African continent crossing to another continent?
No, there was discrimination even at that time. There was a bit of a problem in the issues of race and racism. In America, it was open. That's what I can say about America. If they don't like you, they don't like you.
If they like you?
If they like you, they... for example, the way they used to take us was different from the way they used to take the African American. And it was a thing which actually disturbed some of us. were more or less accepted, while the African Americans were not. And it brought a bit of a problem between us as students. The students from Africa were looked at differently and treated differently, which we didn't understand. I remember at Lincoln University where I was, we tried even to go and try and influence the treatment. There were some cinema halls which wouldn't allow blacks. So we went there to try and integrate those places. And we ended up being arrested because we are becoming a nuisance. And it became an international
You were adventuring.
issue. Yes. We were not adventuring. We were serious about it. It became an international incident, and it was in the newspapers. And the Americans were concerned, of course, because they had criticized the students in Eastern Europe who had been treated badly. So there was that problem. In addition to that, we had we couldn't understand, the African Americans also couldn't understand why we, coming from places which are considered backward, could be accepted, and they wouldn't. So there was that anomaly, which also we didn't like. In Britain, racism was very much hidden. The British would hide. For example, in America, as I said, if they didn't want you to go to a club, they would say outright, we don't take on Negroes, since you are African American. In Britain, they would bring reasons. You are not a member of this club. You are not this. You are not dressed well. While there was actually discrimination all the same, they hid it. And most of us said, these people are really terrible.
You finished your studies?
I finished I finished in 1966.
And then you came back to Uganda?
No, I first went for an attachment. There is an association of students worldwide who have done commerce, economics and commerce. There is an organization called ISEC. So I was selected to be one of the students from my school. And I decided, I had a chance to go to Canada or another place. I refused wanting to go there. I said, because I had been to America, I didn't think Canada was any different. And I had my problem of seeing a socialist country. So I opted to go to Yugoslavia at that time. I stayed in Yugoslavia for 3 months, working in a statistics, financial statistics place for 3 months, which was doing analysis of data to get excessive money. I don't know whether you know the history of Yugoslavia. The Yugoslavia under Tito broke off from the Soviet Union and decided to go independent. And when they did that in the time of the Cold War, America came in and gave them support. But the repayment of that support was in Yugoslav dinar. The Yugoslav dinar would go to America, and when people came to visit Yugoslavia, they would come with the dinars to use. That would upset the monetary and fiscal policy in America. So where the institution where I was pressed to work or to gain experience was trying to reconcile the money which has fiscally been allotted to the state and take out that excessive money, otherwise it would cause inflation in Yugoslavia. So that's what I stayed for 3 months.
When you finished the 3 months, you came back to Uganda?
I came to, first I went to London.
Before coming back to Uganda?
Before coming back to Uganda.
You went to London to do a course or
No, I went to London because most of my things were still in London. I went to London to try and then come to Uganda. And I was still considering, should I stay here?
Or should I go back?
Yeah,
you said you wanted to come back and see your mom.
And also see independence. And there was also an issue which I had thought of going for postgraduate, but then I said, I have had 4 years, let me go home. I will come back.
So you came back to Uganda?
So I came back to Uganda. I had difficulties in getting jobs.
Like you stated.
Yes, but Benaisa took me to Chironde. Chironde took me on and gave me a job as personal assistant economist. And I enjoyed my years at UEB. But in the meantime, I applied for a scholarship, Commonwealth scholarship, and 3 of us were chosen. Me, Thomas, Tom Wangusia, and Erica Drico.
You applied?
Yes, for that scholarship. And
you were given the scholarship?
Yes.
3 of you?
3 of us from Uganda. There were others from elsewhere. I was given a course in agricultural economics at the University of East Anglia. My boss said, no, you need to study management and you do economics which has a management content. So he said, we will sponsor you at a business school. So that's why I went in the City University now to Cass Business School.
By that time, did you have a girlfriend?
Did I have a girlfriend?
Did you have one?
Did I?
No. You're not sure or you don't remember?
I know what I found here when I came back. What was very funny was friends of mine introduced me to different girls and they would call them fiancés. So I got completely confused. One day, the Jane would be a fiancé. The second day, another weekend when we are going to either to Susanna or something, they would introduce me to another fiancé. So I got confused. And when I started working, I was staying in houses which now have been bought off by this man of Shiwanuka. He has bought many properties. Those UEB houses, they were called sharries. So I was staying in a sharry, and that area at that time on Hero Lane, up on top of Kololo, there were no Africans. I think I was there with the Asian Goan girls who were working.
So you were the only African there?
Yes, and another man who was in the commercial department called Haugwa. But all the others were either Indians or Europeans, staying in the UEBA houses. The issue
fiancé and girlfriend.
Girlfriends and fiancé, I didn't distinguish between them, so I kept my cool.
Honorable. So by that time, was Mom still alive?
Yes, Mom died when I was in exile during Amin's time, 1974.
So
December.
Was she staying with you in Kampala or she was still in the village?
She was in the village. But she used to come and visit me in my 1-bedroom flat, the house called the chalet. Those are still there, although they were bought by Chiwanuka now, the whole area there.
When you were growing up, did your mom sit you down to tell you a few things,
Yes.
what you have to do in life? At least if you're taking this career or if you're going to do this, this is what you
especially
have.
getting married.
She sat you down.
Yeah.
Honorable Yona Kanyomozi akyatunyumiza emboozi ye era nga tukyagenda mu maaso n'okubaako ate bye tuyiga. Bw'ayogedde ategeezezza ensonga ya girlfriend ne fiance yamutawaanyanga nnyo, so n'asalawo akipuleyingira awo bw'atyo ndowooza paka we yatuukira ekiseera nga yeeteeseteese. So Honorable, the girlfriend and fiance thing confused you.
Yes.
So you decided to stick to
stay cool.
To stay cool.
Yes.
And then focus on working and getting money.
Yeah, no, and getting an income and settling down and settling my mother down and looking after my younger sister who was in school. That's what I did. But I had pressure from my mother to get married. But I wanted to enjoy myself, so I used to enjoy myself without being tied with marriage at that time. But what happened was that suddenly, when Amin took over, problems started, especially in Ankole. People were arrested
and a lot of that. But before we reach to Amin's regime,
yes.
There was because you said you came back in Uganda in 1966.
End of 66.
That by that time the president was Dr.
Milton Obote.
Did you work with him during that time?
No, I was working. I was working with the UEB.
But you are part of UPC.
How would I work with him? You asking me work. Work was with UEB. But I was still a member of the party.
You weren't given any position when you came back in the country?
No. The positions at that level were all occupied anyway. But I played my role quietly. I went, as I said, Agra World gave me a program on TV, which I would do. My boss, Chironde, encouraged me to get nearer the centers of power and analyze.
And you were introduced to the public by?
I was introduced by the public in 1970 as a possible person who would be an MP. And I attended all the annual conferences of UPC.
So you aspired as the MP, or it just ended there?
The coup came. So when the coup came, I couldn't be an MP. I couldn't be an MP because the coup came, and most of the people in Ankole that I knew who were UPC were arrested and taken to Makinde.
Makinde barracks?
Yes. You know, there is a place where they detain people. I had my very bad experience with that. And
you were also taken?
Yeah?
You were also taken?
I know. I will tell you what happened. First of all, when Amin took over, friends of mine, Kijuka, Museveni, myself, we had thought Kategaya and a chap called Kahunga Barie. We thought we were going to oppose this takeover. And we called a meeting in my house. The president has been saying so many times about it. It is in his book even.
In your house in Kololo that you talked about?
No, I had already changed the job. I'd got another job under UNDP, UNIDO, to start industrial estates all over the country. And I had started work on this place between Chambogo and the valley where there is now industrial activity there. And the small building, they were going to cater for artisans so that they can have common services. Instead of you buying a lathe or something, you buy it in company, in a group, and you can form like a cooperative or an association. You use the things on hire. That is the work I had started doing after leaving UEB.
Honorable, we are going to close from here for today. The next time we come back, you're going to tell us how you survived the coup and being taken to Makindye, where some of your colleagues were taken. So
not my colleagues, my superiors mostly, except maybe Chris Rwakasis, who was nearly the same age as me. But people died in Ankole, many of them.
Okay, let's close from here, Honorable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mwena ababaddeko abakomentinze ate namwe abasharinze wano episode ya Fiora lero wegenda kubanga ate ekoma Sunday ja agenda kubanga ate atwongerayo nga atubuulira ya surviving atya okuba nti yete yatwalibwa Makindye nga basiniya be bwayogedde bwe batwalibwa byonna agenda kubanga ate abitubuulira era atubuulire ebyobufuzi by'ebiseera oba politics ebiseera ebyo yali ate ebintu byatambulanga bitya abali ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti bo bayisibwanga batabinabe agenda kubanga ate abitubuulira mu episode yaffe enaabeera ezeeko eriiso ly'omukulu awaddugala we walaba olwonno lugero lw'Abaganda. So program yaffe eno emanyiddwa nga eriiso ly'omukulu kansubire nti gwali eyo ofunyeemu ekyokuyiga ekinaakuyamba ate okubanga ogenda mu maaso. Bw'otunuulira Honorable n'emboozi ye bw'azaaginyumya akulaze nti ebintu si byakufuna ng'otudde wansi obanga oleze engalo ng'olindiridde ate bakuwe buwi. Akulaze engeri gye yapalapalanyamu okubanga atuuka wa we tukomye emboozi yaffe ate we tugituusizza olwaleero na bingi byanyonyodde. So kansubire nti gwe ali eyo ofunyeemu ekyokuyiga okusingira ddala gwe omuvubuka omanye ate ebintu bino byali bitya nti omulembe guli bo bakikolanga bataye abaffe ku mulembe guno ki kye tutakoze ekyetaaga okubanga ate tuyigira ku bakulu baffe abatusookayo. Amannya nze Omubejja Luwedde Lilian Sandeja ate obudde bwe bumu ekifo kye kimu kambagalize week ennungi mubeere bulungi mweraba.
Uganda is born again.
Mubirabye, mubiwulidde.
And you will see what NRM means. We are going to crush those criminals.
Mubyenyigiddemu.
We are simply peacefully telling our people, say no to rigged elections.
Ebimu mubitegeera.
Naffe tusobola okutiisatiisa abo abatiisatiisa.
Oba oli awo ng'abamu mugwamu bigwe. Byabaffe byava ku ki?
Era kyova olaba baatukolera ne constitution esinga obusiru mu nsi yonna.
Bino n'ebirala birindirire buli lwa Sunday okuva ku ssaawa 11 okutuuka ku ssaawa 1 ey'akawungeezi.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation, just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
We President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the alternative digital etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative TikTok.